Hello, folks. Look at me. I'm on your computer, or phone, or tablet, or whatever. Sorry about that. Me again. Dom Lawson here with another one of those thrilling album reviews in a visual and talking manner. I've got a way with words, haven't I? It's brilliant the way it just flows out. It's incredible. I can't even think of the word now. Incredible load of old rubbish, Dom, is what it is. But anyway, yes, I'm drinking some lovely coffee out of my Manowar mug. Read and learn. Stand and fight. Live by your heart. Say no more. Yes, so this week I shall be talking to you. That's you that's watching this. About. I have joked. Well, half joked in previous videos that I'm looking forward to reviewing something that I don't like. Well, here we go. Well, I mean, I didn't like the Of Mice and Men album. That was fucking terrible. But this week I'm reviewing the new album by Attila. Now, where do you even start with bands like this? I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, I must admit, the first I saw of Attila was somebody sent me a link to one of their videos, presumably in an attempt to irritate me, and I don't know what the song was, but it had lots of swearing in it, and Chris Fronzak, as I like to call him, or the Fronzarelli, Fronzilla, whichever, mate, your name's Chris. He was wearing some ridiculous clothes and some kind of fake bling or whatever, and pretending to be one of those hip hop MCs that they have nowadays. And it was, it was kind of just not awful in the sense that I couldn't bear to watch it or listen to it. It's just like it just kind of made me sigh. Like, oh, here we go, another kind of oh, we're mixing loads of styles of music together, and it's really original, and oh, look, we're swearing, and it's clearly not aimed at me. That's the thing. And I'm not going to be all kind of, oh god, they're not a metal band, blah blah blah. It's a kind of metal, it's just not a kind of metal that I'm instinctively drawn towards, really, as you can probably imagine. But anyway, I avoided them because with a band like that, if you know you're not going to like it, what's the point in letting it seep into your consciousness? Whatever. But I ended up reviewing them. I ended up going to see them just as a kind of, a lapse of concentration. Somebody offered to, do you want to review them? And I was like, yeah, all right, that'd be funny. And it was, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be honest. I was kind of expecting it to be vile. Given some of the lyrics that he has, and the fact that he can't, Mr. Fronzak is incapable of writing a song that doesn't include the word bitch at least once. Edgy. But it wasn't, they were a kind of a good fun live band, really. I mean, there was some, it's not music that excites me. It's kind of, you can see all the cliches coming, and they're not cliches that I particularly want to hear over and over again. But I'll say one thing, they had loads of energy and the crowd went mental, and it was, to that you kind of say, well, fair enough. It was slightly icky that, their audience, which was an awful lot of girls that were underage, 13, 14-year-old girls and boys as well, and a lot of them wandering around with Attila t-shirts on with "suck my fuck" written on them. I mean, it's it's understandable. I think if I had been if I was 14 and somebody had offered me a t-shirt with "suck my fuck" written on it, I probably would have worn it. But there is something a little bit ew about that, and also when you say things from the stage like, oh, who's going to party with us? And then it all kind of takes on this slightly weird sexual element. It's like, most of your audience are at school, mate. They're kids. That's creepy. But anyway, as much as I wanted to hate it, I didn't. It was all right, I didn't loathe every second. And there was one or two songs that, I would say musically, and this new album, Chaos, kind of proves this. Musically, I would take Attila over a lot of other kind of scene bands. I would take them over Of Mice and Men every day of the week. I would take them over Bullet for My Valentine. There's a lot of Bring Me the Horizon, Asking Alexandria. In musical terms, this new album by Attila isn't as horrifying as it could be. I mean, the first song's a great example. Ignite. Always going to ignite the pit. Look at him go. It's kind of metalcore, it's kind of deathcore, it's kind of new metal. It's got bits of proper what I would call proper traditional, thrash or whatever, melodic solos. It's got a whole load of elements thrown into it. It's all super well produced, really, really heavy, and it's very boisterous and kind of, the riffs themselves aren't particularly objectionable. There's a cookie cutter element to some of it, I suppose, but the hybrid that Attila are going for on this album, which to me seems more diverse than previous records that I've kind of half listened to before vomiting. It's musically, I don't hate this record. I'm really quite tired of people, mixing hip hop and dance and pop elements into metal records. It's like, yeah, it's fine, we get it. You're that generation that has the attention span of a fucking goldfish. It's fine. You want to cram everything together. That's the way things work now. But it's not the same as being original. You're just combining elements that have already been combined. You're just combining them in a different order, But like I say, there are moments on this album that if I zone out from the from the lyrics, which I will get to in a second, if I zone out from the lyrics, I don't hate Attila. I think there's some good stuff on this. There's a couple of really kind of Pantera moments on there, really heavy riffs, and to be fair, when they do a preposterous deathcore breakdown, it is they're almost celebrating the dumbness of it. So I kind of get that. It's some of the deathcore that I like is utterly one-dimensional, and it's the kind of stuff where you really one track will do it. Do you know what I mean? It's not interesting like Enterprise Earth or Fit for an Autopsy or those bands that are doing something interesting with it. It's just dumb fucking deathcore in the same way that AC/DC is just dumb rock and roll. It just happens to be fucking amazing as well. There's nothing wrong with a bit of stupid. I'm all for it. But there are also some pretty smart moves on this album, in terms of diversifying their sound. I mean, they say this is on some label. Is it called A Rising Empire? That's like part of the Nuclear Blast stable, and I think it's quite funny that they've had to start another label. But it's quite intuitive and quite shrewd, really, because it doesn't matter how many times we say, it's all metal, we should all just get along and it's all great. A lot of people have an instinctive dislike of this stuff. It's visceral and it's honest, and that's rightly or wrong for whatever reason. In much the same way that a lot of kids that like Enter Shikari or whatever would probably find Saxon to be a little bit dreary. It's just the way it goes. It's just a taste thing. You can't force people to like things by saying you must be open-minded. It's like, well, I'm trying to be, but I don't like it. But anyway, the new Attila album, Chaos. It starts with this song Ignite, which is half decent, and the lyrics aren't the worst on the album. But this is when we get to the problem. The lyrics on this album, I mean, by the second track, he's off on one. And I've got to say, there's a song called Bulletproof. Now, I suppose that people would argue you're not really supposed to sit and analyse the lyrics on an Attila album, but I'm a lyrics guy. I like lyrics. I like people. I listen to a lot of hip-hop, so I'm used to, the having that amount of lyrical content to get through. It's true of some metal bands, huge amounts of lyrics that, and it should be an important part. It should matter. Even if you're writing stupid lyrics, you should have thought about them. It's not, if you are actually stupid, that can work, I suppose, but I don't know. Anyway, point being, the lyrics on this album are not horrifying, not offensive, just fucking dreadful. What are you on about, mate? You're 26 years old. Come on. Anyway, it reaches a peak of brilliance, I think. And as much as it's a lazy device for comedy purposes, I'm going to read to you some of the lyrics from this song. It's you may well have heard it already. I think it's been out on that internet for a while. It's called Public Apology. Now, bear in mind, Attila get a lot of stick. A lot of people have, I imagine, decried them as being offensive. I imagine that anyone that complained that Attila's lyrics in the past have been, frankly, a little bit misogynist and rather childishly unpleasant, probably got shouted at for being a social justice warrior. Oh, lighten up, it's just a laugh. Well, yeah, it's just a laugh when you're a child. When you're a grown-up and you can actually think about these things, there is a trickle-down effect from young, impressionable people listening to lyrics that are consistently a bit fucking unsavoury. Just saying. It doesn't take a genius to work that one out. But anyway, Public Apology, which is obviously Franz's brilliant response to all the haters, all those haters, honestly. I hate living in the modern age. It's terrible. I'm going to drink some coffee. Hang on. It's brilliant. The song starts as the intro. He says, I want every single one of you to know that I'm truly sorry from the bottom of my heart. I'm so sorry. Sorry that you're a little bitch. Brilliant. See what he did there? He turned it around at the end. And then it's just extraordinary. You want apologies? Well, fuck you. Eh? None of you motherfuckers will know what I've been through, but it's fine because Franz is about to tell us what he's been through. He's been broke his whole life and locked in a jail cell. I mean, he may have been locked in a jail cell, but it was probably for doing something wrong, I imagine. I mean, I don't know. He's wrongly convicted of being gobby in a built-up area. Anyway, whatever. He apparently been to jail. He's been broke his whole life. Well, apart from the last 8 or 9 years when you've been in a fairly successful band, presumably. All of y'all can go to hell. That's all of y'all, not just some of y'all. In debt, washing dishes in a hot kitchen. Oh, boo-hoo, you had to work for a living. What a nightmare. No light ahead, just bad news and dark visions. It's got a bit poetic there. You want to talk like you know me? Not especially. You want to talk more shit like you motherfucking know me? Brilliant. These are the best lyrics I've ever read, I think. Here we go, now listen up, he says. Now, it comes to the chorus. This is an absolute treat. Now, for somebody who claims in several songs not to give a fuck, and fuck you, and I don't care what anyone says, and I'm going to live my life, and blah, 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 doesn't have to go on about people criticising him a lot. It's almost as if it does get under his skin. But anyway, he says, fuck your shit, I stay sick. It sounds brilliant when I say it, doesn't it? It's way more effective. If you don't like it, you could suck this dick. Not you must suck this dick, you could. So the option's there for those who would like to suck Franz's dick. I say cunt. Ooh, I say bitch, blimey. We know you do, mate. We've heard your records before. You motherfuckers get offended by anything. Now, this is the bit I like. You motherfuckers get offended by anything. Well, not anything. I mean, repeatedly saying bitch as if it's okay to describe women in such a way. I wouldn't say it was offensive, but it's regrettable, And I don't really get offended by anything he says on this album. I mean, it's hard, I say fuck shit and cunt myself. It's not fucking, it's not new information to me that there were rude words. But anyway, maybe he's talking about the social justice warriors than the haters. But anyway, again, he mentions, fuck your shit, I stay sick. If you don't like it, you could suck this dick. Depending on the circumstances. I say cunt, I say bitch. You motherfuckers get offended by anything. So go ahead and get offended by this. And then there's like a deathcore breakdown, which is quite funny, Some people I know, people that are massively into like Celtic Frost, would probably be offended by a deathcore breakdown in any context. And that's verse 2, brilliant, this is awesome. Take it or leave it, I think you probably need it. What? I see you bitching for a living. Well, yeah, I suppose that's a valid point. I'll take that one on board. I'm just glad I offended you. Well, you didn't. I'm here to stay. I ain't going away. I'll give you 5 years. You can yell and complain, but I must stay the same. I must stay the same. Young people today, honestly. Are you done? Are you done? Are you fucking done? I mean, you could ask yourself that, Chris Franzak, frankly. But anyway, then he goes back into the fuck your shit, I stay sick bit, which is brilliant. And, he's still saying cunt and bitch, which is lovely. Your fingers on the trigger, but my hands around your neck. So easily insulted, I live under your skin. Well, you do continually insult people, so, it's bound to upset somebody at some point, mate. None of your songs are called You're Lovely, are they? They're all kind of, you're a bitch, you're a cunt, fuck you, I used to work in a kitchen. You don't live under anyone's skin. What are you talking about? I mean, for the most part, people who don't like your band don't listen to your band. But anyway, whatever. What else does he say? This is brilliant. I went on tour without a penny in my pocket. Yeah, you and every other fucking band. Dreams of making music was the only thing I rocked with. That sort of rhymes with pocket. You want to judge like I'm on the stand? Well, come and say it to my face. You can catch these hands. So basically, threatening you with a slap were you to criticise him or to judge him. Don't judge him. This is the metalcore generation in a nutshell. You can't judge me! Stop judging me, you haters! Well, just fucking ignore him. What do you want about? What's it matter? Then the chorus again, brilliant. And then my favourite bit on the whole album, actually. I mean, there's some choice moments lyrically, but as the song finishes, he goes, ha ha ha, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Small pause, and then he says, psych. Brilliant. Just comedy gold. So there you go. That's Public Apology by Attila. I think, well, where do I even go? like I say, musically, it could be worse. It could be so much worse. And there are bits of it that I quite enjoyed, until the lyrics kick in. You just think, oh, grow up, mate. Honestly, it's not, it's not awful. He's not doing any. There's lots of other people doing the same thing. He's just pushing it a bit further and being a bit, if you're that bothered about people being offended by your stuff, he goes on about it, and half the songs on the album is him kind of going, yeah, you can't tell me what to do, fuck you, but just what? Honestly, find something else to write about, mate. Clearly, 13, 14-year-olds will lap this up, and they will wear their suck my fuck t-shirts, and no one will say a damn thing, and that's fine, whatever. But really, I just think, this is no way for a man in his mid-20s to behave. It's all right, like I say, musically it could be worse. Lyrically, it's truly, truly extraordinary. And as a social justice warrior, I have to say I'm hugely offended by the whole thing. Not really. Okay, folks, Metallica next. Ooh, exciting. Or is it? Cheers. Thanks for watching this drivel. Don't buy the Attila album, it's rubbish. Bye.